Good evening and welcome one and all to the Friday Waffle. As you can tell, I'm not in my games room, I'm down in my kitchen. My wife's going to her bed, so I have been kicked down here. Don't worry, it's not going to be a long Friday Waffle at all. I know I say that every week, but really this is going to be a short one. I've just had a stupidly busy week at work and I'm absolutely knackered, so it's pretty late. I don't know what time it is, it must be about 9:30, but I hope you've all had an alright week. Like I says, work wise, my job is just insane. I mean, the contract that I work on is finishing in 3 months time, so there's a lot of kind of tidying up to do, so I'm afraid I think my workload's going to get worse before it starts getting better. But excuse me, what have I been doing myself? Not a great deal. I've been out running a few times. I don't know if you caught my last video. I did a just a waffle type video. I was through in Edinburgh. What day was it? Was it Sunday? Nah, it was last Sunday. Excuse me. I saw a PSP 3000 getting advertised for 20 quid. Which is an insanely cheap price. So I contacted the guy, he was on Gumtree, and he got back to me and said, sorry, somebody else is picking it up, but I'll let you know if he doesn't turn up. So I thought, yeah, that's fine, I'll not hear from him again. And then lo and behold, the next morning I got a text message to say that the guy hadn't turned up and would I be interested in it. So I'm like, absolutely. So I went through, I picked it up. Really nice guy, just a young guy. He used to be quite a sort of a retro collector. So he gave me an absolutely cracking deal. I got a PSP 3000 plus something like 5 or 6 games plus a case, really good condition, for 20 quid. So I've been spending a fair bit of time getting emulators put onto it. Now what I've actually done was I've put together a video showing you the emulators in action. As you know, I'm a bit of a retro gaming freak when it comes to handheld games, so I love my emulator type handhelds. I mean, the PSP is an insanely good platform for playing classic systems, and you can get it dirt cheap. Yeah, you might not get one for 20 quid, but you'll get one for maybe 30-40 quid quite easily. So that is coming out, that video will be coming out. I mean, I finished it, but I'll probably release it next, I don't know, Monday, something like that. So that's been it. I can't even think if I played any games at all this week. You know what, one system I've not played for about 3 weeks is my PS4. I don't know what it is. I've just not got any enthusiasm to switch the thing on just now. Don't know why. I'll need to actually turn it on because I've got the PlayStation Plus, so you get, I was going to say free games. They're not free because you're paying for them, but yeah, you get quite a few good sort of decent games, so I'll need to check that out. But yeah, that's really been it. It says I went for a swim last night, went for a run last night as well. I've got my park run tomorrow. Nothing else planned. Get out for a run on Sunday. Really nothing else. If you watched my my car waffle thing that I did last week that I was talking about, I've been persuaded to go to the Play Blackpool event on, is it the 10th of February, I think, is it? I think it is actually. 10th of February. I wasn't going to go, but then my mate Steve, who runs the Retro and Limb website, he contacted me, he says, are you going? I'm like, nah, I'm not going. And I says, when is it? And he went, the 10th of February, and I thought, I quite fancy that. So I've got a ticket. I'm taking my daughter, her friend, who's a boy, and a couple of my mates. So we're going to be going down there just on the Saturday. Travelling down Saturday, coming back Saturday. So if you're going down, you're going to be there on the Saturday, and you happen to see me, please come up and say hello. It'd be nice to meet some people. I know Lactobacillus Prime, Mark's going, which is great. I'm not too sure about other YouTubers, I'm sure there are others going, and I know obviously Stephen from Retro and Limb's going as well, so look forward to catching up with these guys. But that's been it really. Yeah, not really been doing a great deal. I've just been working. And to be perfectly honest with you, I mean, I've been so busy at work. By the time I have my dinner and go out and whatever, I'm just knackered. I'm absolutely knackered. It's probably an age thing, I'm sure it is. But yeah, so yeah, I'm just going to batter in. I've not got too many questions actually, but let's just get wired in, as they say. Right, Batman now. Firstly, apologies, Squire. Bat actually gave me this question, I think it was about 3 weeks ago. I think the problem was, I did a Friday Waffle quite early one Friday, and Bat had posted it after I'd made the waffle, and I always just go to the last week's waffle to get the questions, if that makes any sense, and because that had been on the one I'd already looked at, I missed it out. But anyway, what is Bat saying? I once had an Atari ST but sold it to buy the machine I should have bought in the first place, Commodore Amiga. Recently though, I've had some Atari ST pangs and would like to hear your thoughts on it. Well, the Atari ST holds quite a few fond memories for myself. None more so because than the fact that it was the next massive step up from the Commodore 64. I mean, I'm trying to think what it'd be. It'd be 1987. I remember buying the Computer and Video Games magazine, and I wasn't really aware of Atari ST. But then there was an article. There was I'm saying it might have not been the Computer and Video Games. It was in a computer magazine anyway, and it was talking about this new computer called Atari ST, and it had a photograph or a screenshot, and it was of International Karate. Now, it wasn't the International Karate that eventually got released, although I think the one that I'm talking about may have got released later on, but I can just remember seeing the picture and my jaw hit the floor. The graphics were just incredible. You know, you need to understand that I had been used to just Commodore 64 graphics, Spectrum graphics, and to see this stunningly high-res, super colourful screenshot of a game, it just looked insane. And at that point I was like, I need to get one of these. But you know, I didn't have, I mean, I was working at that point, but I mean, my wages were shit. I mean, I was on a YTS, so I was on real crap money. And my mate Ian, you know, what did he have? He had an Oric actually. And yeah, he was the same as me. I'd showed him the picture of the Atari ST, and you know, he was like me, need to get it. But he was exactly the same as me. He didn't have any income. He was working, but I mean, he was on shit money as well. And so it was one of these things that we wanted to get it, but we really, you know, was it ever going to become a reality? Probably not. And then I can still remember we used to, every Friday night, I mean, it would be, I don't know, 17, 18, every Friday night we'd go up to the local pub, and we were sitting there having a few drinks, and what we used to do is, I mean, I still lived with my parents at that point, and Ian still lived with his parents. I would go to stay at his bit, and he would crash out with my bit, and it was the night that I was going to crash out with his bit, and he said to me, "Oh, I've got a surprise for you," and I'm like, "What?" And he went, "Oh yeah, you're going to like this." And got to his bit, got to his parents' house, and he said to me, "Right, in you go, have a look at that." And I walked in, and there was this Atari ST in Ian's bedroom. And I'm like, wow, you know, I'd seen it in the magazine. I never believed for a second that I was going to get to see one. And running on it was Arkanoid, which to this day is still an amazing port of a really good arcade game. I mean, I tend to favour the Amiga now, I've got to say, the Amiga version of it, but the Atari ST one is lovely. It was released by Ocean, programmed by Peter Johnson, I think it was. So anyway, yeah, I had a shot at Ian's Atari ST, and you know, the jump from the Commodore 64 to the ST, certainly in graphical terms, it was like, boom, you know, it was massive. It's probably, I'd probably say it was the biggest technology jump for myself. I mean, I know there's been other technology jumps going from like, I don't know, the Amiga to like the PlayStation or whatever, but I always felt that going from the 8-bit computers to the 16-bit, the difference in graphics was just phenomenal. Saying that, the ST had shit sound compared to the C64, but anyway, Ian had an ST and I knew I had to get one. So I eventually did get one. I took out a credit. I took it out in credit, i.e. you pay it up. You probably pay the loan off twice, whatever it was. But I was paying this loan up. Got the Atari ST, and I had an amazing time with it. I mean, what I liked about the ST, I used to be able to. I didn't program it, but me and my mate Ian, what we used to do, because software was kind of so expensive, we used to chip in and buy like one piece of software between us. And what we did was we saved up and we bought this, it was a sound sampler, I can't remember what it was called. Basically you could record your voice. I know it's like, sounds, you know, ancient now considering you've got that on a phone, whatever, but yeah, we bought this sound sampler and we were making these stupid little demos, just kind of daft little comic sketches, Monty Python type things. And then, you know, we started to get a few kind of copied games, and I wasn't programming it, but I used to love just basically fanning about in the operating system. I could drag files across and kind of just muck about, you know. And I never got that. When I went to the Amiga, eventually changed over to the Amiga. I wasn't able to do anything in Workbench, whereas the Atari ST I was able to kind of mess about with it. But yeah, the Atari ST, it was a great computer. The funny thing is, I don't have a great deal of nostalgia for it, and I mean I do have an ST, and it's currently up in the loft. I bought it's a little SD card thing, but I couldn't get it working. But I think the reason I don't have a lot of nostalgia is because I always felt that the Atari ST was just like a poor man's Amiga. And I've got an Amiga, and the games are virtually identical, but I don't think there's any game, if you can think of any, tell me, I don't think there's any game on Atari ST that wasn't out for the Amiga, and the Amiga version was either at least the same or if not better than the Atari ST one. So the Atari ST was like a cut down Amiga. It had worse sound. I mean, the sound in the Atari ST I thought was pretty awful. Coming from the C64, which had an amazing sound chip, I always felt disappointed with the ST. In fact, I remember, you know, owning the ST and feeling very, very sad. I thought, I've just got this brand new computer, yet the sound is worse than the computer I've just got rid of. So that was a bit of a kind of bittersweet. But yeah, so I went from the ST to the Amiga, and because the Amiga is virtually the same computer, albeit more powerful, better graphics, more colours, quicker, better sound, I don't see any real reason to go back and play Atari ST. No, there's not really any game that I can think of that I can't play in the Amiga. So if I didn't have the Amiga, if the Amiga had never come along, I would have absolutely been all over the Atari ST, you know, getting one now. But because I've got the Amiga, I don't know, I don't have any real desire to get another one. Although I do have one, I've not got any way of loading discs of that in it. I don't see any point in playing it. I just look upon it as the ST is like a cut down Amiga. I know there's lots of people who love their Atari ST. I mean, for MIDI, it's got the built-in MIDI interface. It's great for musicians and that kind of stuff. But as a gaming platform, I always felt it was like the poor relative of the Amiga. But yeah. Also, my first retro purchase of 2018 has been a Commodore VIC-20. Do you have one? If so, what are your thoughts on it? I do actually have a VIC-20, and again, talking nonsense. The VIC-20, I never owned one back in the day. I mean, I went from the Texas TI computer, and then I got my Commodore 64, and I never ever played a VIC-20. And again, it's possibly because I never had one, I've got no nostalgia, I've not got any happy memories of it. I think to myself, why would I want to go back and play it? Because it's things have moved on. But saying that, I do have one, but I've not got any way to load games into it. You know what? I'm wondering if my Ultimate 2 cartridge would work with it. I need to have a look at that actually. I'm glad, thanks for mentioning that, but I'm going to have a look at that, because I have got the VIC-20, but I don't have any way of loading games. But I'm going to see if I can use my Ultimate 2 cartridge, which I've got for the C64. If that works with the VIC-20, then I may start dabbling. I mean, I know there are a few games, some like Jeff Minter's games. For example, VIC-20 Grid Runner, and Grid Runner on the VIC-20 is easily the best version. And I kind of been a sort of a Commodore fanboy. I mean, I had the C64 Amiga. I can't be a true fan if I don't know the VIC-20. So I should really rectify that. So I'm going to have a look for that. I'm going to see if the Ultimate 2 cartridge works with it. Yeah, cool. Thank you very much for your question, but you've hopefully given me a new release, or a new reason to go and dig out the VIC-20. Next one, Lutch666444. Is that your phone number, perchance? I remember being so amazed hearing my Spectrum talk for the first time, and then again when I saw my C64 showing sprites in the border. Are there any impressive computer moments that stand out for you? I think one of my favourite films to this day, in fact I watched it just recently, is Chariots of Fire. I love the film so much, and I remember buying Hypersports, and I could not believe it when I heard the music. I just thought this was insane. In fact, I remember my dad was a big fan of Hypersports. My dad was a big fan of Chariots of Fire as well. I remember shouting him through to come and listen to the music. It was just insane. But yeah, I mean, standout moments. There's been a few. I mean, I've done a few videos on things like that. I mean, the Summer Games, the animation in Summer Games 2, just incredible. The animation in Beachhead 2, plus the speech, "Follow me, man, medic, I'm hurt." Yeah, some amazing technology went on there. The animation, the sound effects. Graphical wise, I suppose the first time I saw Uridium, I was pretty blown away. I mean, it's hard to not be impressed with Uridium. I mean, compared to every other game that's out there, Uridium it's another 2 steps above anything else. It doesn't look like a Commodore 64 game. The graphics are phenomenal, the scrolling, but just the high-res sprites, really amazing game. Anything else? One thing that I thought was awesome was when I first got my PlayStation, and you got to play Galaxian when the game was loading. That was insane. I always wished that there was you could play the full game, and to this day I have never ever cleared the screen. I think you've got, I don't know how many there are to kill, 10, something like that. I've never ever got past it. I think I've had one before. I think, do you get extra cars or something if you clear it? Not too sure. But yeah, there are a couple of moments that really stood out, but there's been quite a few. Next up, Panther UK. Have you ever tried out a multi-configurable front end like launcher box? I'm currently building a complete library with all my ROMs complete with artwork. It's as simple as clicking a system, then the chosen game, rather than loading an emulator and going through menus to load the game up. I think I've tried Launchbox, I'm sure I did, and it is pretty impressive, but I use a thing called GameBase. I'll put a wee link up there. GameBase, it's quite an old front end, and it was written by C64 enthusiasts. They were coming up with this project called GameBase 64, and it was basically a way of archiving every single game, music, you name it, anything at all that was released for the C64. It was their way of archiving it, and they used this little front end, and it's quite simple. It's not the easiest to use to set up, but once it's running, it's great. It's quick. It shows you you can look for games, really genre, publisher, programmer, date of release, anything like that. It's great. I mean, I use that. It's an absolute boon when it comes to me doing my sort of videos, because you can just find stuff really quick. If I want to look at all the games that were released by Ocean, I just filter on Ocean and you get all the games. And other clever people have very kindly taken time and put out various other game bases. So I've got one for the Spectrum, Amstrad, BBC, Apple, what else? Atari ST, Atari, Commodore Amiga, Sharp X68000, Mega Drive, SNES, Master System, NES, Game Boy, you name it. I think I've got something like about 25 systems, so that's what I use GameBase. Like I said, it's not the easiest to set up. There's a lot of basically fanning about to get it working, but once it is working, it's an awesome piece of software. I think Launchbox is very similar. It might, so I keep looking out. I thought my dog was going to come in there. I think Launchbox is similar. It probably looks nicer, but I'm not really one of these fans of big fancy dancy front ends with videos and that kind of stuff. I just want to be able to pick a game and play it. You know, I don't really need a video to. It's got screenshots so you can see what a game is, sort of thing. But yeah, that's what I use in GameBase. Like I said, I stuck a link up the top. Excuse me. So anyway, Chris, thanks for your question, buddy. Next up is Down the Rabbit Hole. Kev, I am surprised how many people still praise Assassin's Creed Origins now that it's been out for several months, and I might be turning around on my decision not to play it. Have you ever had a change of heart in a game? Has there ever been a game that I've swore I'm not going to buy? Yeah, actually. I've never been a fan. Well, I was a fan in the early days of Call of Duty. I mean, I liked the original sort of World War II Call of Duty, but since it went across to more kind of modern stuff, I've never been a fan. I think the fact it's too realistic puts me off. I just get bored playing these games. I sometimes find them too difficult as well. But when I heard that they were going back to basics and they were going to release a World War II one a few months ago, I thought, I need to get that. So I did, got it for my Christmas. Not actually started it yet. But yeah, that was one game. It was a franchise that I thought I'd never go back to. But I'm trying to think any other games that I've not wanted to buy and then I ended up buying it. There's probably been a few. But when you get put in the spot like you do frequently to me, Kevin, I can't actually think of anything else. I'll think about it when I'm trying to answer the next question, which is probably impossible because I don't think it's possible to think of two questions at the same time. Secondly, did you enjoy the point and click adventure era of gaming? I don't think you've ever shown any of these games in your channel. You know what, Kev, it's a type of game that I have never ever got into. I was never like a text adventure fan. I've never been into graphic adventures, and I know the point and click is like the next stage of adventure games. I mean, did I play? I'm lucky if I played Secret of Monkey Island for any more than half an hour. I mean, it's generally regarded as one of the best Amiga games of all time. It's certainly regarded as one of the best point and click games. But I tried it for a very short time and I don't know, I couldn't get anywhere in it and I just kind of got bored. I'm more, you know, arcadey games, instant gratification, you know, this bollocks having to work to look for things. I totally get why people enjoy these games, and I would like to like these type of games, if that makes any sense, but I just get bored. I just can't be bothered. I think the only two point and click games that I actually enjoyed 3 actually. I played on the Amiga, what was it called again? Darkseed, which is a rather dark, Geiger-esque horror game. This guy, the party you play, the guy's got a thing growing in his head, and it's quite morbid. It's a depressing game, but I played that quite a bit. Never did complete it. But one game that I think I did complete, 2 games actually, on the PC. I played it on the PC, or was it on the Amiga actually? I think it was the Amiga. And it was Police Quest, which was a real basic point and clicky game, and also Leisure Suit Larry. I think the whole appeal of being an adult game attracted me to play it. Did I ever complete it? Possibly. But I've never ever, since playing these games, I don't know when that would be, I've never ever, that you're talking about 1992, something like that, I've just never gone back to them. I've never had any interest in playing them. And I know I'm probably missing out on some amazing games. I mean, is it Grim Fandango and is it Sam and Max, I think it was, in the Commodore Amiga? Nah, I've just had no inclination, no interest at all, Kevin. That's why I never ever talk about them. And thirdly, what's your favourite home version of Berserk? I guess Horus and the Robots. It's definitely close to the arcade original. I confess I've never liked the Vectrex version of Berserk. Do you? Absolutely mine. I'm not just saying this because my mate wrote the game, but Horus and the Robots is by and far the best home version of Berserk I've ever played. It's you know, it is jaw-droppingly accurate. It's an amazing game. So yeah, to me there's no contest. If there's a better version, but who was it was talking? Somebody mentioned it to me. Was it the Tandy? I can't remember who it was. Somebody posted a comment. I'm sure it was the Tandy computer. They said apparently it's meant to have a really good version of Berserk, or am I thinking of some other game? I can't remember, but no, 100% Horus and the Robots is my favourite home version of Berserk. Vectrex one, you know what? I'll actually need to. I've got it upstairs. I mean, I've got 2 Vectrexes actually. I've got it upstairs. I've got the original game, and I'll need to play it. I mean, I've played it a few times, and I remember thinking it's a bit easy, but I think that was before I became a fan of Berserk. So I think I'm going to do a playthrough of it. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, Kev. So anyway, listen, Kev, thanks very much for your questions. And excuse me, just to finish things off, guys, Mr. Doug Scullery. Question 1, have you ever had the chance to meet fellow Scot Sandy White of Ant Attack fame on the Spectrum? If not, any chance you might do a Blimey, it's only with him. I've never met him, Doug, Sandy White. I don't even know what he looks like. Well, I do now because I googled his name after I read your question. I wasn't a Spectrum fan, so I really wasn't overly fazed with Sandy White. I mean, I'd heard of him, sort of thing, but after I read your question a couple of days ago, I went onto Facebook. Now, I can't find him on Facebook, because what I generally do is, if there's somebody I want to try and interview, I'll either go into Twitter to see if they've got a Twitter account, and I'll send them a message, or else Facebook. I mean, that's about the only 2 ways that I'm aware you can really get in touch with people. A lot of it's down to luck. A lot of these guys, they don't reply to stuff, but I couldn't find anything for Sandy White, unfortunately. If anybody out there knows, has got a contact address for him, got an email, let me know, because yeah, I think it'd be good. Though saying that, I can only think of 2. Well, there's one other game that he wrote which I'm a big fan of. I wasn't a fan of Ant Attack, but he also wrote Zombie, which is an amazing game for the Spectrum. But it would be good to get him. But like I says, it's tough trying to track these guys down. I mean, I do. You may not think I do, but I do put quite a bit of work into trying to get a hold of people, and it's not always easy. You know, for every one person that agrees to talk to me, there's probably 2 or 3 that don't. You know, that's just the way it is. They're not interested, you know, in a little channel like mine's. I mean, they can, you know, there's much bigger channels that they could get a bit more exposure from. But anyway, yeah, I will keep trying, Doug. Rest assured with that one. Number 2, if you could go back to 1983, Back to the Future style, and meet your younger self and show him the latest tech from 2018, what things would your younger self be most amazed by, most disappointed by? I can't think I'd be disappointed with anything. I think 1983. I think probably an Android handheld with all the systems on it. I think that would blow my mind. You know, this was at the point where you were saving up money to buy a game, and if 50-year-old Alan came back from the year 2018 with a handheld, I mean the handheld wasn't even a thing back then, it would blow me for six. It really would. It would just be the most incredible thing ever. Oh, the obvious answer, I suppose, we'd say like a smartphone. Can you imagine taking a smartphone from, you know, now back to even like 1990? Here's a camera, here's a calculator, here's a video recorder. I mean, back in 1988, me and my mates, we paid, I think it was about 100 quid, believe it or not. We hired a camcorder. We hired a camcorder for the weekend, and we wrote some comedy sketches. Now, you know, this was a massive, massive camera, and you have to charge up the tapes and that kind of stuff. Now, the videos that we made are actually available on my YouTube channel. If you're desperate to see them, if you want to see 18-year-old me, slightly chubbier, with a mullet, then let me know and I'll send you the link. It is available on my channel, so you can go and look it out. But but you know, we paid 100 quid to be able to video us and make sketches. Nowadays we've got a camera, we can do it dead easy, you know. So yeah, I think it'd have to be a handheld gaming system, and probably a smartphone, I think. And lastly, question number 3: did you stop uploading the waffles as MP3 files to Google, and why? Not enough interest or technical problems. I used to download them occasionally, it was very handy. Honest answer, Doug, is I forgot. Simple as that. It's like a lot of things. If you do something so many times and that's maybe causing more hassle, I mean, I've obviously got to make the video and then you've got to convert it. If you're not getting any feedback, then you end up just stop doing things. You think, well, it doesn't matter, people can just watch it. If you want to get it back in MP3 format, let me know and I'll do it again. But basically, I'd forgotten about it and I was just basically too lazy. So that is it. So right, listen guys, that is me for this week. It is a short waffle. Like I says, if you're going to Blackpool on the 10th of February, let me know. It'd be great to catch up with you guys. Thank you to all the new subscribers. My sub count has taken a bit of a leap in the last few weeks. I don't know why. That's just the way it seems to work. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing, and obviously thanks to all the loyal guys that stick with me and enjoy the channel. And finally guys, have an ace weekend, and as usual, thank you very much for watching.